When I was 14, I met someone who made me feel seen. He was older, confident, and said all the right things. I believed him. At first, it felt exciting. He complimented me, messaged constantly, made me feel special, but gradually, the compliments turned into suggestions, and the suggestions became rules. He didn't like how I looked, told me to change the way I dressed, who I spoke to, how I acted. I thought it meant he cared, so I adjusted. I tried to become the version of me he seemed to approve of. I changed my habits, my routine, even how I spoke. The more I tried to be what he wanted, the less I recognized myself. There were times I questioned whether I was happy, but I told myself I was lucky. I didn't realize I was slowly losing parts of myself. Eventually, things crossed a line. He became cold. His tone changed. He mocked instead of praised. One moment in particular left me stunned. I couldn't find the words, couldn't even move. That's when something inside me said, "This is not what love should feel like." I stepped away. But leaving didn't erase the echo of his voice. For months, I felt like I was walking in a fog, questioning everything, especially myself. I stopped doing things I loved. I felt numb more often than not. But slowly, I came back. I began rediscovering what made me feel whole. I read, I learned, I asked for help. I started to believe that I didn't need to be anyone's version of perfect. Now I'm 19. I go to college, I make my own choices, I eat when I'm hungry, I smile when something makes me laugh. I exist on my own terms. Still, now and then, a memory surfaces. Something he said, something I used to believe. And I pause. But instead of shrinking, I remind myself, I'm no longer in that place. I'm not that version of me. A few years later, I entered another relationship. It started long distance. We messaged and called every day. It felt intense and overwhelming, but I thought that was normal. Soon he began questioning my choices. Why wear that? Why are you going out? Who are you talking to? Again, I adjusted. I thought I was being thoughtful. I stopped talking to some friends. I distanced myself from my family. I thought I was doing what people in love do. When we finally met, things didn't get better. He laughed at my appearance, joked about things that hurt, and made me feel uncomfortable in my own skin. One moment caught me off guard. I spoke up. I said I didn't like it. His response left me speechless, not because of the words, but because of how it made me feel. Small, invisible. That was my wake-up call. I left again, and again I had to rebuild. I questioned whether I was enough. I avoided going out. I doubted myself. But over time, I reached out to people I trusted. I began to believe that the problem had never been me. Now I'm 21. I'm still learning, still healing. I remind myself often that love should never feel like erasing who you are. My last relationship lasted nearly a decade. I married someone I thought I'd grow old with. But as time passed, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. He relied on guilt, saying things to make me stay, to make me feel like I owed him more than I had. I tried to help, tried to fix things, tried to hold everything together. He'd break things when upset, raise his voice, and shift blame onto everyone else. I began to question if I could leave, not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know if it was safe to do so. Eventually, I did. And it took me a long time to understand that being needed is not the same as being loved. Even in new relationships, I caught myself falling into the same patterns, giving too much, asking too little. But I'm learning. Now, I live with someone kind. We raise a child together in peace. I make space for myself. I speak up. I say no when I need to. And most of all, I remind myself, I am not someone's shadow. I am my own light,